Don't be.
And in the future, bring those back in times in progress, we shall call. That sleep. I get mixed up with the other one, but
anyway, we know Bhaktivinoda Thakur tells us a similar thing about now means devotion. That's life. That brings us beyond time. Even within, like, you know, we get glimpses of it. Like we're working, engaged in devotion, and suddenly, like, time doesn't really mean anything. The thing that means something is the devotion and the dedication and the, you know, the sense of being with, you know, in our case, our gurus in their plane of consciousness. They let us, you know, kind of come into and get a sense of that. And we all know that as we came in contact with, you know, our great gurus, Srila Govinda Maharaj, Srila Guru Maharaj, and Srila Prabhupada. In their presence, it was like, you know, a bubble that we just entered in, were able to enter into and feel, you know, something of the reality of their transcendental existence. And it was unmistakable. You know, we didn't really, you know, become fully purified, but in that experience, we got a little purified, and also we understood what is the destination, and the fact that the destination is real because of the consciousness of the Paramahansa Vaishnava. So Krishna is the shelter of all the universes, the original source of the Purushas, and the mercy of Krishna, as is described, descends through those 6 different agents and reaches out to us through the agency of Sri Guru. So text 106. Thus, the personality of Godhead, Sri Krishna, is the original primeval Lord, the source of all other expansions. All the revealed scriptures accept Sri Krishna as the Supreme Lord. So, it's a, you know, powerful statement by Kaviraj Goswami, and, you know, it's correct, and he'll go on to quote from, you know, different Shastra to substantiate this. Swayam Bhagavan Krishna, Krishna Sarvasraya, Parama Ishwara Krishna Sarva Shastre Kaya. Just, you know, amazing how he comes with each verse in perfect order and in perfect, like, poetry, with the perfect content. You know, if you think about it, it's just it's impossible, it's unbelievable how this has been manifest. And then we hear that he felt, you know, his pen was moving by the grace of Nityananda Prabhu. It was just moving, he said. And it was all coming out. So that means he was like Srila Prabhupada, like Srila Guru Maharaj told us of Srila Prabhupada, he emptied himself of all, of everything, except the desire to serve his Guru. And in that consciousness, Nityananda descended. So in similar consciousness, Nityananda descended and worked through Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami. So Swayam Bhagavan, the supreme original personality of Godhead, Krishna is Krishna. Krishna Sarva Ashraya, he is the shelter of all. Prabhupada says the source of all expansions. Parama Ishwara Krishna. Krishna is the Supreme Lord, Sarva Shastra Kaya, which is said, Sarva Shastra, by all the scriptures. So, you know, direct, powerful statement by Kaviraj Goswami. Then, we'll do this as the last verse. He comes with a quote from the Brahma Samhita, the 5th verse of the 5th chapter. Krishna, who is known as Govinda, is the supreme controller. He has an eternal, blissful spiritual body. He is the origin of all. He has no other origin, for he is the prime cause of all causes. I wanted to like try and sing it. It doesn't come out as well in English as it does in Sanskrit. Ishvara Parama Krishnaha Satchidananda Vigraha Anadir Adir Govinda Sarva Karana Karanam. We've all heard this many times and read it in Brahma Samhita, but it's, you know, it's an extremely powerful statement. Ishvara, the controller, Parama, the supreme controller, Krishna is Krishna. Sat Chit Ananda Vigraha. He is the transcendental form of absolute eternal existence, knowledge, and bliss, ecstasy. You know, the highest, whatever experience we have in this material world of, you know, a rush of pleasure, a rush of freedom, you know, any kind of experience that we think, oh, if I just could have that, just zipping down the hill skiing, or catching a wave surfing, or, you know, driving a car really fast, or, you know, all these different things are just glimpses of what reality is. Small glimpses. It's not even, you know, really comparable. They say it's like a drop of water compared to the ocean. So, you know, we can't even imagine what's in store for us by the grace of our gurus. And they tell us it is in store for us. We have entered into the stream. And, you know, it just depends on how much and how fast we paddle, you know, in the transcendental boat given to us by our Gurudev. We have the shelter of like a boat, like the temple. And in that same boat are other Vaishnavas who sometimes paddle when we can't paddle. And, you know, such is the grace of our Guru, that he gives us association of Vaishnavas who can help us and, you know, help us grow and encourage us to, you know, develop and find stability in our existence as we progress in devotional life. You know, stability through tangible service that saturates your particular nature. This is the grace of Guru. He sees, you know, he's not present, but he's in the heart. As Chaitya Guru, he sees what we need and he gives it to us. It just, you know, works like that in very, you know, mystical ways is the best, best word, I guess. And I just want to say that, like, about mysticism, Prabhupada would talk about mysticism and really not, you know, kind of denigrate it. But that was the eight, you know, the 8 stages of developing siddhis based on like personal desire for power. That is denigrated. But in the common parlance, the common usage of today, mysticism means going within and seeking reality. So, you know, in common language, we, you know, we say we're devotional mystics. We're into devotional mysticism, and that's how people can understand what we're doing. You know, and they'll be attracted in that way. We find, like in Salt Lake City, Shama Mohini, she's like 15 or 16. She's talking to all her friends, and all her friends are really interested in this, you know, because it's something to do with the existence beyond the temporary physical existence. And they want to see, they want to understand. So we have to learn how to open the door for people who don't have any experience of Krishna consciousness, how to bring them in such a way so that they'll be, you know, blessed by the sukriti of, you know, being in contact with the ideals that we carry in our heart and the power of the temples that have been built and manifest by the grace of Srila Govinda Maharaj, who, you know, was functioning under the grace of Srila Sridhar Maharaj, who was functioning under the grace of Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, the principal acharya of our line. And there was a nice quote from Srila Sridhar Maharaj that said that we should always be following according to the directions of Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur. And if we don't, we will gradually slide into the mire of sahajism. So this person who says, oh, you know, I know more than Saraswati Thakur, you know, the position of separation is, you know, equal to or less than the position of union. So we know automatically they've like lost it. You know, Saraswati Thakur was everything to Srila Prabhupada, was everything to Srila Guru Maharaj. So whatever he writes, we know it's in line with Srila Guru Maharaj and Srila Prabhupada. And if there's any question, we can find reference in Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur's writings, and you know, what to speak of his sources. Gorkishore Das Babaji was a mystic, beyond that an avadut, and didn't write, didn't know language, but knew devotion. And through him radiates the example of the accessibility of pure devotion regardless of material qualifications. It's not based on any kind of material qualification. We can't judge in that way. Anyone who we come in contact with, whatever their condition, may be ready for devotion. And then, you know, of course, Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, who, you know, broke through the curtain, the wall of the coverings of sahajism that had caused real Vaishnava understanding to be lost. Bhaktivinoda. So in Bhaktivinoda Thakur, who was followed fully by Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, we have access to you know, pure guidance, which is authorized by our gurus for us to access. And if there's a particular book that, you know, generally there's been given permission, the books of Bhaktivinoda Thakur. And if there's ever any question, we have to get, you know, authorization from someone who's like empowered. So, you know, we go to Srila Acharya Maharaj, we go to Srila Goswami Maharaj, we go to Srila Acharya Maharaj, Srila Janardhan Maharaj. For me, I go to those Vaishnavas and ask for, you know, clarification and permission to, you know, go forward according to how I'm perceiving my, you know, my existence and the necessity of that existence to enable me to progress forward. We take shelter of the higher Vaishnavas, and that's, you know, that's the natural arrangement, the natural order of progress that Krishna has given. You know, you know, many of us, some of us, myself also, try with sincerity to take shelter of Srila Govinda Maharaj, Srila Guru Maharaj, Srila Prabhupada, and beg them for some revelation as to how we can serve. And sometimes things come, and sometimes things don't. And so there's, Gurudev's vision of wait and see. Understand you're in a particular position by Krishna's arrangement. This is Krishna's arrangement. So you don't change that position until some clear, revelation comes that you're supposed to change. Or, you get some revelation or understanding and you're not sure of it, but you get confirmation from a higher Vaishnava, and then you proceed. Otherwise, the particular position we're all in, Krishna's got us here for, some reason. Even if we don't know it, it will be revealed, and we will progress forward. This is like the experience of, practitioners, my experience, everybody's experience. We progress. We understand by the grace of our gurus and by the grace of the higher Vaishnavas, we understand where to go and what to do next. And if we don't clearly understand, we wait for some sign from our gurus. And sometimes it's unmistakably clear. And other times it's, a lot of times it's hazy. And we try to, bring it out. And in that we have to, reveal our minds to our God brothers and God sisters. And talk about where we're at and what we're thinking. And, ask for guidance on how to make judgment as to what to do. This is, one of the key principles of devotional exchange, is to, reveal the mind to the Vaishnavas and inquire with submission. Okay, I'm going over time. Yeah, do you know the Sanskrit for those? I don't remember. Right, yeah. That's Upadeshamrita, right? Or was that Rupa Goswami? Yeah. So, this is our, those things outlined by Rupa Goswami give us a life that is beginning to be separated from the life of mundane exchange. That's the really cool thing about Krishna consciousness, is that we develop and continue with exchange, but we try to make that exchange by the grace of our gurus based on our devotion. And the individuality that we express may have some coverings, but at the same time, it also has the expression of the real self. So, we don't just don't say anything, don't do anything, just kind of live in our own world thinking we can't exchange because we're too conditioned. But rather, we try to, make loving exchange on the level of our devotion and dedication. And, live together, do things together to, help develop that devotion, help stabilize ourselves in loving friendship, so that we can have the willpower to progress. This is the whole setup is designed by higher arrangement of our beloved gurus. And so just like the setup in ISKCON was, at least, I don't know exactly what's going on now, but the setup in ISKCON was to have very strict regulations and help you snap out of it. Just, you do this, you do that, boot camp in the army. Just, you get slapped if you don't follow. And then, after you get out of boot camp, you're more on your own, and you have to make your own decisions. Like on the battlefield, you have to decide to stay in the foxhole or to charge. So Sri Chaitanya Saraswati Mat, we're on the battlefield. You know, this is, while we do still follow practices, really our devotional practice is after the Kanishta stage. So, in some sense, the practice that we do is secondary to our efforts internally to surrender. And Sri Chaitanya-charitamrta is structured in that way, with emphasis on the individual, like personally with his own willpower, doing you know, what's necessary for their service. And this is like a blessing. That's why in Navadvip I was like, I couldn't understand. Nobody's running around getting people up for Mangal Arati. It's just, you get up yourself. And if you don't want to get up, go ahead, sleep. This is your choice. You have to make a choice. You have to make an internal decision to progress in Krishna consciousness. This is the middle stage. You know, and you have to fight with the, you know, with the external illusory energy. And, you know, you have to do it in such a way that you progress. Like Guru Maharaj gave the example, we're trudging through mud. You know, we have our Wellingtons and we're trying to figure out how to get, you know, get one foot out and get the other foot in. And it has to do with, you know, our contact with the temporary energy. And we have to like walk in such a way so that we progress towards the solid land. And, you know, that's what we're all doing. And the key to it all is the grace and the guidance of the Guru. You know, it's like there's a map there, but the map is perceivable with, what is it called in Gita? Divya Chakshush, the divine eye. It's already there, but in, you know, in material consciousness we can't see it, but if we can awaken a little bit of our spiritual consciousness, we'll see the map that's been laid out for us by our Guru, and we'll know what to do. And sometimes we won't, sometimes we will, and we have to, you know, understand that our Guru is there, even when we feel like we're alone. But we have to remember, we're surrounded by friends who want the same thing, and above it all is our Gurus, who are awake and who are looking at us, you know, sleeping souls, and endeavoring to wake us up based on, you know, the degree of sleep that each one of us is in. They know how to get us up. You know, and the sleep is heavy. It's like in the morning, if the alarm clock goes off at the wrong time, too early, you'll just turn it off and go back to sleep. But if the alarm clock goes off at the right time, you get up. So that the Gurus know like when to set the alarm clock for each particular stage of devotion. And if we try to be, you know, through inner sincerity, be as much as we can, remember to be in connection with our Guru, those alarm clocks will go off at the right time. And sometimes they won't because we're spaced out or distracted. But, you know, nonetheless, we know the Gurus are like, you know, in the transcendental world, looking down at us in our, you know, looking at the sleeping soul and, you know, trying to give us the means through which we can wake up. So Kaviraj Goswami is giving Chaitanya-charitamrita to the Vaishnavas, and those Vaishnavas are conveying Chaitanya-charitamrita to us so that we can, you know, begin to imbibe and feel the understanding of the supremacy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and then naturally, by that understanding, we'll you know, be impelled, motivated to increase our devotion. Okay, I'm really talking too much. Right, so we're at verse 108. 108, that'll be easy to remember. And it's just, Kaviraj Goswami says, you all know the conclusions, you know all the conclusions of the scriptures very well. You create these logical arguments just to agitate me. So this is Brahma who's talking to Krishna after, you know, he was completely fooled and defeated by Krishna. In Vrindavan there's Brahma Kunda. Has everybody been there? Brahma Kunda. Brahma's in the middle with 4 heads, and there's, you know, monkeys running around, and usually Goswami Maharaj is telling the story of Brahma and quoting some verses, you know, beautiful verses that Brahma wrote in like surrender to Krishna. And that surrender of Brahma is celebrated at Brahma Kunda. And last year Goswami Maharaj was giving a talk, and off to the side there was like a trespasser monkey who was being like driven out by two of the resident monkeys. And they drove him down the stairs towards us, and suddenly he jumps in the water, kind of swims across the water, and jumps up right in front of Goswami Maharaj. So I had my cane, I reached out and whacked him with the head of my cane, and he just looked at me and ran off. It was like, really, it was one of those things that just, wham, happened in like 1 second, you know. And it was funny. Okay, so 108 tomorrow. Jai Shri Chaitanya-charitamrta ki jai.